Okay. All right. Good morning. My name is Frank Svenfelt. I'm still legally the CEO of Samuji, but I'm moving to a board position. So these types of things is something that is very close to my heart, but we haven't had a lot of time to do it. So thank you, Richard, and Ilona and Peter and everybody for arranging this. I think it's exactly what is needed in this climate. So, and it maybe very briefly talk you through my experience of fashion. I'm not a fashionista, as is very apparent from my my outfit, I'm sure. I'm a banker by trade, if you like. That's my background. I invested in Samuji in 2011, so that was my first contact with fashion, or maybe brand building is what I look at more, and more interested maybe in brand building and building companies. So maybe just very briefly, Samuji first, for people that don't know it. It was founded in 2009 by Samuji Sikowski, who was the creative director at Marimekko before that. He wanted to create a brand, get away from maybe mass consumerism and seemingly what the industry did then and does still today, in my view, is produce more and more with seemingly not much sense to it. So he founded the company in 2009. From the get-go, an international brand, so still today we have over half of our revenues come from outside Finland. It's what we refer to, the segment we refer to as new luxury or affordable luxury. The brand was set up, I would say, in a very traditional way. It's not that long ago, 2011, when I got involved, but back then there was a very traditional way of building these companies, which was based on a rather traditional find the most appropriate customer, a lot of legwork, build the brand to a cash flow positive position through wholesale, and then invest that money into physical stores. Online was, it existed obviously then, but it wasn't, at least my maybe not so good due diligence or my assessment of the business at the time. Online did not have a very big role in that. What we've found over the years, and what I sort of realized after a couple of years, that the not only what you sell online, but the entire way that you, both the logistics, so both the way that you produce, but perhaps more importantly, the way that you interact with your customers is being completely revolutionized by digitalization and the access to information. And I think what we saw in the previous presentation is a part of that, but it's much deeper than that, and it goes into the whole value chain of the company. So from a Samuji perspective, be very honest with it, we were quite late to the game in terms of online, and it took us a while to realize the full impact of it, and I think still today maybe we're learning. I'm personally very happy about this. Richard and I met maybe there you are. That's all right. That's all right. Hopefully you're hearing. Yeah, Richard and I met, I think, the first time 2-3 years ago, and Richard had some working on some other projects, and from my very sort of maybe selfish point of view, I realized at one point that, and again, I've been asked to speak about retail tech from a brand's perspective, and I realized at one point that we have no clue, what is going on the tech side of things, right? I come from a banking background, not from a fashion background, but if you look at the typical fashion company, I'd say most of the people in that company are primarily concerned with either the fashion aspect of it or the brand building aspect of it. And tech has always, it's been a slight suspicion, I'd say, towards tech, right? And in my personal experience, the products or the technology that people are trying to sell to a brand like Samuji is sometimes maybe not fully understanding what the brand is, and that what is being done is actually to build a brand and a customer experience. And that is, I think, one hurdle that the techies among us will probably find, and that is one of the reasons that I started hanging out with Richard back in the day, and it's sort of on that path that we're still on. I'm not sure where it's going to lead, but I think this event is, from my perspective, is exactly the way to maybe lower some of those barriers and maybe and get people on the tech side to understand the retail side and the other way around. Very happy about sharing my experience and my mistakes and maybe some of the successes that we've had as well. We have a store which is 20 meters that way, which is our flagship store here in Helsinki. We have a physical store in New York as well. And then we distribute through around 80 stockists globally. So we have a bit of a track record in building a brand, and I'm happy to share with this community, and then more broadly as well, both Samuji and then the other companies I'm involved with. But again, very happy to that we've got this going, and hopefully there will be a continuation to this as well. And we're with Rich's company PriceStat. We're also doing a trial with Samuji now over the coming months that we haven't really agreed the details on, but just to try some of the aspects of that technology. I think that's about it. I'm around for a while afterwards as well, if just to chat afterwards. But thank you again, Richard and Ilana, for arranging. Thanks.